America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everybody. Another packed house here at Goshen. Welcome to the Town of Goshen Town Board meeting, October 26, 2023. Can I have a motion to open?
So moved.
Town Board meeting. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any questions on the agenda from anybody on the floor? No? Okay, first item on the agenda, Maplewood. Discuss and approve the extension of the Town of Goshen Water District Number 1 is the first item on there. We were on a conference call with all parties yesterday, a Zoom call, went through everything, gave them everything they needed. It's pretty self-explanatory. Rory, you went through it correct and no issues with it?
Nope. No.
The only question I had about it is we have a developer's agreement with them, but there's no mention of any developer's agreement in any of those three things. Should it be in there or should it not?
I mean, it certainly wouldn't hurt to have it in there, George. I don't think that would prohibit anything. I actually, interestingly enough, both attorneys drafted the documents and they crossed over and they were identical and neither one mentioned the developer's agreement.
Yeah.
It's not a problem to add it. I don't think it's any issue.
Can we add it as an exhibit?
But there are two things in that, as I recall, the sequence of the wells and the.
We're talking about for which,
For
Maplewood.
Maplewood.
no, but which of the three? You're talking about the developer's agreement?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But there was a sequence of how the water was gonna come to us and so forth and so on. And there was one part in there, there's some of the land they were gonna keep to do something else, but it's been 5 years, I just don't remember what it was. But there were a couple items that might be relative, and I don't know.
Okay. Listen, it's not gonna hurt to have it in there, as Joe mentioned, as an exhibit, cite it. It's a good point. It can't hurt to have it in there. I mean, I guess take for granted that we know what it is sometimes because, but.
When that attorney was here that was representing them,
Andrew Gilchrist.
I had asked the question about, do you have one, just to refresh my own memory, what was the specifics as far as the developer's agreement? And he said, well, there's a couple things here and a couple things there, so I never got a definitive answer, but I think there should be something in there.
I think one of the reasons in this particular scenario why it's not in there, and maybe, I don't want to say it's an oversight, is this is not the first extension, it's an extension of an extension. So in the initial doc draft, that kind of was the template, I guess,
Maybe.
it wasn't in there. So it kind of really, it's not an issue to put it in. So just put it in and make it simple. But I think that's why.
Anybody else have any questions on it? So can I have a motion to approve the extension of the Town of Goshen Water District Number 1 with the inclusion of the developer's agreement?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, discussion and approve the extension of the Town of Goshen Sewer District 1, same district on the sewer side. Any questions on that? All right, so can I get a motion to approve the extension of the Town of Goshen Sewer District 1? Again, with the adding of the developer's agreement as a attachment.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and discuss and approve the resolution establishing the drainage district in itself. Any questions on that? All right, can I have a motion to approve the resolution establishing a drainage district?
So moved. So moved.
Rick, George, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, moving on to item number 2. Approve the monitoring of the well at Craigville Park by Miller Hydrogeology for Maplewood Village Development. So they're gonna go in and while they're doing the work for Maplewood, they're gonna make sure they monitor our well, although I don't think the well is used, Mary, is that correct?
The well is used by the park when it's in session.
Okay. So, any questions on that?
You're gonna do quantity as well as quality, part 5?
No, they're not testing our well, they're just making sure when they do their 72-hour test on their wells, our well doesn't drop.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about our well. I'm talking about, are you gonna do quality and
They,
quantity?
they were looking at redoing the same exact test they did 5 years ago.
20 years ago, I think. Joe.
There was part 5 test.
Yeah, they're duplicating whatever they did there, come back with the results on that.
Okay.
They
Rory,
just
we
need
need a hold
permission.
harmless on this?
Yeah, we're gonna put a hold harmless, I'm confirming, but based on there should be already insurance in place, if not, that'll be a component of, but the hold harmless, so when you approve this, that is the condition, an additional condition.
Okay.
That there'll be a hold harmless.
So you're gonna produce that?
I am.
Okay, all right, very good. Can I get a motion to approve the monitoring of the well at Craigville Park?
So moved. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item number 3, review and authorize the acceptance of a road dedication from Pulaski, 842 Pulaski Highway, AKA Nutra Gummy, a 25-foot wide parcel of land along and to the center of the Big Island Road highway for highway purposes. So it's essentially them giving us the 25-foot right-of-way from the center line on their length of the property, correct?
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions on it?
Kevin?
Can I get a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Review and discuss introductory law number 8 of 2023, a local law requiring utility companies to remove inactive, broken, and replace utility poles within the town. This is a request that came down from the senator's office. I thought it was a logical request. I don't, and Black Hill has done it.
More like a demand.
What's
I
that?
think more like a demand in the
Well,
council
you know,
request.
he thought it would be a good idea. He didn't really tell us we had to do it,
No.
but, you know, I thought it was logical. I thought it was something we should look at, and we do have quite a few of them around town. So it gives the building inspector the ability to fine if they don't remove those poles.
You know, one of the other things with these, like, for example, Houston Road, there's one that was hit by a car and it's still there. They need to move it.
Mhm.
A lot of these poles, you'll see wires that are coming down to the ground. And you think for public, kids or something, they don't know, I mean, to me, that's something that the Commission of Utilities should be looking at. It's a procedure that's kind of taken over. And so maybe someone we can talk to, some of the people.
Well, we're very fortunate because we have Eric that sits on our planning board, who's the liaison to
But it's not just the electric,
municipalities.
it's these telephones, some of these others that,
Yeah.
a crew will come and then they'll go somewhere else and the wire's down. And you don't know if it's alive or dead, and so some child come along and plays the wrong wire.
All right.
Okay.
Any other discussion on that? Any questions about it?
No?
All right, can I have a motion to approve local law number 8?
We're not approving it, sorry, you're just
Oh,
setting a
I'm sorry,
public
setting a
hearing.
public hearing,
Yeah,
yes.
sorry.
Public hearing set for
December 14th.
December 14th.
At 7 PM, or
At
soon
7
there.
p.m.
Review and discuss, I'm
Did-
sorry, what?
Did you do a motion?
No.
No, I'm sorry. Can I get a
Motion.
motion? Motion to set the public hearing on December 14th at 7 o'clock.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
We're soon thereafter.
Okay. Review and discuss introductory law number 9 of 2023, a local law amending chapter 27, administrative board training and attendance requirements of the town of Goshen to ensure consistency with the town law. It's mandated that our planning board, land use and the ERB boards have to get trained on a yearly, is it a yearly basis, Mary? And Kelly wrote the request for the planning board and the ERB to get this training to bring them up to date.
We're
We
going
have-
from 6 hours to 4 hours,
4 hours,
and we
right.
checked with Lieber.
We have to do that too?
No, but you can if you
Okay,
wanted to,
fine.
but, yeah.
As long as it's not a requirement.
It's not a requirement for the town board, no.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
You would think it would be, considering there are issues that sometimes we have to deal with seeker on certain items.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you will be invited to anything.
Yeah.
You know,
What's
we'll
that?
always send out notices, and it's up to you, but it's not a requirement of your position.
So they usually have the training right here?
It's, Orange County Planning does it sometimes, it's a 911, sometimes it's a video,
Okay,
but as they come up, Grace will send it out.
good.
So we have to set a public hearing, right?
Yes.
We just did.
No, another law, that's another
Another
law.
law, so, can I get a motion to set the same date?
Yeah,
Yes.
Motion to set the public hearing for December 14th at 7 PM there or about.
that's
So
not-
moved.
that's-
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. On the local law. Review and discuss introductory local law number 10 of 2023, a local law opting out of the real property tax law 487 exemption. This is relative to our solar moratorium that we had. We did the research on it, and we came back with, based on, well, I'll let Rory explain.
Yeah, there's a limit to how many times you can extend the moratorium.
Right.
And this is in response to essentially limiting the commercial use solar until we figure that out on a long-term basis, and allowing residential to continue with, you know, the more
Yeah.
small-scale stuff, and
Yeah.
then you guys, it gives the board options long-term, so.
So essentially what we have right now, when we pass this, is the ability of, any applicants coming in are not gonna get a pilot on this. They will pay the full book value on the costs, which may or may not deter them. And it gives us some more time to look at and evaluate some of the additional things that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, as the comprehensive plan gets evaluated and where you wanna
Yeah.
rezone, if you even do that, so.
Correct.
you know.
Yeah.
So that's a change, because there was a mandate, right, that we had to give them a pilot.
At one time or what?
There may have been, that is certainly not the case, there's a couple of municipalities locally here that are,
Where we opted out of it, I believe Wallkill opted out of
yeah,
it too.
yeah, so.
So this local law is just that we opt out.
We opt out, and they'd have to pay full boat on the value of the taxes on it.
Now, the ones that have pilots, they stay. with
They're
the-
grandfathered in, they
Yeah.
already had
They're
it.
gonna-
Right, okay.
Okay.
But Rory, you
Yes.
you just mentioned about the moratorium that we've had. Don't we have to do something?
Cause it's gonna
It
fall, it
expires.
falls off the books.
Oh, it just expires?
Yeah, it falls off the books,
October 31st.
you're limited to how many,
October 31st expires.
We can only do one
Okay.
extension, right?
yeah, yeah.
Right, okay.
All right, so,
We did one extension.
We
right?
did one.
Correct, that's why,
yeah, done.
this allows you, it gives you guys time to consider a long-term plan of how you wanna, if you wanna
Okay.
rezone or
All
not.
right. Good.
Okay.
All right, so
Any other discussion?
You need a motion?
So we need to set a public hearing,
That's correct,
December 14th, 7 PM, on or about 7 o'clock.
sure.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Review and authorize the supervisor to sign the decommissioning agreement, maintenance escrow agreement, stormwater facility agreement, and declaration of restrictive covenant and documents related thereto in connection with Owens Road solar project.
And Alec is here from, if you have any questions.
I don't know what they're on, I think we've been talking about this long enough. Yep. Anything else? Rory, you have anything on them?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Supervisor.
All right,
So moved?
second,
Second.
all in favor?
111.
Sorry for the ride down, Alex.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Yeah, it was a fruitful ride.
Yeah, if it didn't pass it, then you could apologize.
Right, exactly, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Safe
next,
travels.
next on the agenda, schedule a joint public hearing regarding the SR 94 New York LLC Lightstar Renewable Solar Farm project involving site plan and special permit applications to the Town of Goshen Planning Board on December 21st, 2023 at 7:30. The applicant SR 94 LLC proposes to build a 2.4 megawatt AC community solar facility on property located in the Town of Goshen as shown on tax map thereof as section 20, block 1, lot 2112. Said property consists of approximately 27 plus or minus acres and is located along Randall Street, New York State Route 94, and Big Oak Drive in the Town of Goshen. Amazing what glasses does.
Wow, yeah.
So you need a motion?
Unless we have any discussion on it. No.
We'll make a motion. and then you can
All right,
discuss
so
it.
can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion. December,
I don't know, this is gonna be,
December 21st, this is with the planning board.
December 21st. Okay, so
Is that
motion
their normal
to,
meeting?
That's theirs, yeah.
That's their
So
meeting.
we're going to.
They'll have the
accommodate.
dais.
We'll accommodate them.
yeah, we'll be sitting in the corner.
All right, I'm okay.
7:30.
7:30, correct,
Yeah.
December 21st, 7:30, Santa Claus is coming, so. I need a motion?
George did the motion, we need a
I'll
second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is the
Review,
zoning board of appeals gonna come to that, or?
No,
No.
there's nothing before them related to that project as of now,
Yeah.
so,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, good.
item number 9, review and approve the resolution to authorize the town supervisor to negotiate the acquisition of the county quarry and mines with the county legislature. So I spoke to the county exec, as I said before, he's fully in favor of it. I spoke to Joe Menuda, who approached me on it because he along with us have gotten a lot of requests from the people that live up there. So it was suggested that I present it to our legislature, who's Jim O'Donnell. I did that this morning, and Jim said he would definitely bring it up, as long as we had a resolution in hand that we approved it. He would definitely bring it up to the legislature and try to push for the town not to have to pay a penny, just take it over and create a town park there.
We're gonna have to pay $1, aren't we?
Nothing, yeah, $1.
Well, otherwise, yeah, they would be.
Right, it's $1. Correct.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And that's a great, great accomplishment.
And Mark Buckeye was sharing with me, when this was being discussed earlier, that he would give land to us too, when we own if we need it.
Well, what he also would like us to do is, and that's for later discussion, but since you brought his name up, I'll bring this up. He approached me about deeding some of that rail trail from Goshen all the way into the village of Florida.
Right.
And there's a
That's
huge,
right, I was like, that
Yeah.
was, yeah.
there's a $2 million grant that we're applying for
Yeah.
now. We may get it, we may not get it, but we can utilize that for a trail if we decide we want to do that.
Right.
So,
Good.
he didn't make that a condition, but he highly hoped
He told
for us to
me
take
that,
over
yes.
the quarry.
Okay.
Okay, review and approve resolution to re-levy.
I have a question. there.
Sure.
What will happen to the quarry? They just can no longer expand, what will the?
They would bring stone in and make asphalt, that's all they can do. They'll no more dynamiting, no more blasting, no more nothing.
Good.
And they won't be able to sink any lower, so it won't affect the wells up on,
So they may not even stay there, but.
they'll stay there, because they're not gonna move the plant.
Yeah, right.
But they'll have to truck in everything go. Yeah, the stone for
And
the
that's what they
asphalt.
did before.
Yeah.
Correct.
They operated,
Yeah, no, but-
So then the only place that they're digging stone out of the ground now.
Is the county property.
Is the county property, there's none on the left.
Oh, if they were able to buy the property, they'd be lasting for the next 20 years.
Yes.
I'm talking about, we
No.
now buy the property, there's no other land
No.
contiguous to that they can start
That's
digging.
it.
No.
When I talked to one of the DEC engineers or geologists like 4 or 5 years ago when they got their last permit, the concern was if they go down too deep, they get into the aquifer, it could interrupt the water flows to some of the subdivisions.
Well, we already had a well up there go dry. They had to go down, they had to dig down.
Yeah,
And they are pumping water out of there, so the groundwater is coming up.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, review and approve the resolution to re-levy unpaid water sewer charges in 2024 to the Goshen Town taxes.
So moved.
Well, I've got a question.
You want a second for
Yeah.
discussion?
A second, I'll second.
I'm listening.
Bill in charge, yeah, I'm looking.
Was there a penalty that people have to pay based on the fact of using other people's money?
We did, and then we took it off because of COVID, and,
Is that something we ought to be thinking about putting back on?
yeah.
Because these people are getting a free ride at someone else's expense.
True,
And,
we can discuss that at a later meeting, about doing it, yeah, no
Yeah.
problem.
okay.
Did we vote on this?
Can I
Nope,
have a
all in
motion?
favor?
I have a motion with the amount in it, I'm sorry, I should have wrote the
Here's the amount
amount.
of money, yeah.
Yeah, $178,376.32.
You're kidding me, that's how much,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all three.
That's
All-
all four.
All four.
All
I'll
four.
amend my motion
wow.
to include.
Phil,
the
yep,
dollars.
to include the dollar amount?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil, who was second that?
George.
George seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
And Mary, could you remind us going forward that we need to look at that little,
Mm-hmm.
because
Think we
it's not
charge
fair.
5%.
It's not
For
fair to
1
the
year.
other people, really.
Was a 5% penalty
I think so,
previously.
yeah.
All right, number 11 on the agenda, discuss the firefighter exemption and senior citizens exemption. I met with our assessor. There are certain things that the county has already approved on this. The school district hasn't even entertained it yet. They're coming to us now to look at it, but we have the ability to go between, was it 2 and 10%?
Yeah,
2 and 10% of the town portion of their tax bill to reduce it by. I don't think this is, I don't think we have a choice on this, right? It's the governor's,
I joined in partway through
this is the firefighter tax.
we
exemption.
have
Oh,
a
no,
choice, yeah, we have a
and-
choice in the percentage
The amount,
and
but
the
not,
years.
right, not to
Correct,
opt
but
out.
not in the opt-out.
In the elderly.
Yeah, the seniors are next on that.
They're
That's
both,
totally different.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So, it's between 2 and 10%, and it only, gives it to active members, not, unfortunately, not
Widows.
widows
not
or
retired,
anybody that retired already
yeah,
from it.
no, they weren't.
And
So-
Mary, you say you have to have 2 years of active
2
2 years
fire
of doing
fighting or
it.
whatever?
Yep. Well, it's 2 to 5 years.
They have to have a minimum of
Of
2
2
years
years.
to qualify.
Right.
Right? You could do 5 years if you
Correct.
wanted, the town.
So the
has
county
an
did
option.
2 years, and the county did 10%.
Right, and they'd like us to kind of go along.
Go along with them, yeah.
Okay.
So I just want to, I do want everybody to keep this in mind, maybe you know it, I certainly didn't, it's another one of these like unfunded mandates from the state of New York. So that anything that we give, whatever the dollar amount is, that dollar amount gets dispersed about every other citizen. They're paying the bill for it, so it's not like the state's giving us that $25,000, $30,000 reduction. So I just want everybody to be aware of that. I don't have a problem with it, but I wanted
Yeah.
for the public to understand it and everybody else to understand it.
So do you need a motion?
Well, I mean, any more discussion, I mean, does anybody have a problem going along with the county,
I
which
know.
is 2 years and 10%?
I don't.
I don't.
All right, so can I get a motion to approve the
Oh.
firefighters exemption, 2-year minimum with a 10% reduction of the town tax?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. On the senior exemption, that's a little different. So on the senior exemption, it's not part of the STAR program, and it actually, as Alan has told me, there are seniors in the town of Goshen, because of the way it was written, that if they were self-employed and they have capital gain losses, that affects their, what their 1040 or 1065 actually says. So you could essentially be a person that makes $200,000 in the town of Goshen, has a $500,000 capital loss, you made $0, you pay 50% of your taxes. The state has reduced that down to a maximum of $3,000.
Okay.
So there's about 8 people that are not gonna be happy with this.
But that's mandatory though. from the
Yeah.
state.
Yeah,
They don't have a choice.
Yeah.
yep,
Good.
right? No questions, no problems?
The only other thing is the IRA. Right now, we don't count IRA as income, but we will be counting IRA
We,
as income.
on the income portion,
Yeah,
we count, we don't count the Roth IRAs, but we do count the other ones as income.
they haven't been,
Yes, they have, trust me when I tell you.
did I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The 401Ks,
I
they
can
count
think
as
that,
income. And so if you take a withdrawal of 20,000 from your 401K,
Okay,
yeah.
that increases the amount of your
Yeah, we cannot include more
income,
3,000
and
of the
you
loss.
will lose an exemption because of it. Only your Roth IRA, which is tax paid before you put it in the IRA account. So these are all pre-tax.
So this is no change then, is that correct?
Just so you
The only
understand
change
what's
is
going on.
it's more of a loss, not not an increase. It takes the capital gains exemption away from somebody who has, who has a large exemption and caps it at $3,000. That's the maximum loss they can have.
Yeah,
So now it takes them, instead of having a 0 income based on their capital gain loss, they have,
sure.
if they made $200,000, they have $197,000 income. And they paid their full book taxes.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And that's a mandatory thing, the state does.
Yes.
that.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is a state mandate.
Okay,
So there's nothing that we actually have to do.
No, nothing we have to do.
good.
Okay.
All right, can I get a motion?
So moved?
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Thought it was going quick until now. Review and discuss the well reports on the lip-off wells 1 and 2. That's yours, George, here's mine. Okay, so, at the request of this board, we had a part 5 done on both wells. The wells seemingly came back with almost no heavy metals. We had minor arsenic, minor, what do we have, George? Minor arsenic, minor,
Trace amounts of, there's about 15
15 of them.
15 different things, and the ones that I guess were somewhat concerned, I think are relatively easy. We know about them all for a long time. There's iron, manganese,
Yep.
and sodium were the ones that
Correct.
Real high.
Real high.
Yep, well, we know our water is iron and manganese. So, today I requested from Sullivan County Labs a letter, if they were to write a letter, they were gonna review the reports tonight and write a letter for us tomorrow stating that the water with the treatment of chlorine, like everybody does, the water coming out of these wells is positive. We should have that report, or we should have that letter tomorrow. And I will disperse it to all the board members, and
Yeah,
we can,
I think that's really important, because if something happens,
of course.
then we'll be liable, and if they give us their,
We're not technical to read this, you know,
Exactly.
they're gonna say, we gave you the report, you should have read it.
I looked at the 90 pages.
It was 98 pages. I went through it too, I said, well, 2 hours of,
Yeah,
what am I doing this for?
I had a tremendous headache. But there were variables, and to be honest with some of those, the variable was for 70% to 130%. Most of them were at the low end, in the 80%. And that's, when I saw that, I figured, I think I'd like a letter telling us.
Yep.
Sure.
that it's part of
She's gonna prepare, she's analyzing the document tonight, this was another geologist, not the person that did the, well labs, but another geologist is reviewing the report, and she's gonna come back to us with a letter. She feels comfortable that she can say she's gonna write the letter, but she wanted the night to review everything. So tomorrow we'll have that letter, and then we can review it, and,
You'll have to send out for sandwiches when I saw that. I'll wait for
That's
that.
perfect.
We'll wait
Yeah.
for something.
And it's, I think you had said before something that Delaware was gonna be involved with too?
Delaware is gonna be involved in the overall, we need to do a map layout of the area that we are creating the water and sewer district for. Do we have that on the agenda?
Yes, it's next.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna be involved with whether it's potable or not.
No, no, no.
It's just that-
No, the geologist is gonna be doing that, the hydrogeologist is gonna be doing that.
Item 13.
Okay?
All right, so, once we have that, then, you know, anybody,
Well,
is,
it segues into 13, what you're about to.
correct, but my question again is that letter gonna be sufficient enough for everybody to feel comfortable in purchasing these wells?
I'd like to see the letter.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
you know, as I
but-
mentioned earlier, you
Yeah.
know, that
Yeah.
there's one shot in time, these wells have not been pulled, used. And so, based on the knowledge of this, as you pull water out of these wells, you kind of vacuum from the.
sure. Well, you don't know which way the aquifer is running.
No.
Could be east to west. If it's north to south, you're never gonna really hit the water that comes out of the Orange County landfill. But if it runs east to west across there, you possibly could.
So if you're
But-
asking me, as one of the board members, to fly higher and say that we could use the additional water if everything is in place, I'll tell you yes.
Okay.
I'm in favor of it. We
I
could
always
always
do
use
that too, but I'd like to see additional
So-
testing if.
What I just said is,
So, the health department is gonna mandate what we have to do, but let me just give you a positive note on this, and the way that, the way that TAM went about testing the well for us, is they ran a 24-hour test on both wells. They pulled out 1.2 million gallons in 24 hours. Then Sullivan came in and did the test on the water.
Yeah.
So we drained those wells 1.2 million gallons before we tested that water,
And the well only went down 18 inches.
18 inches.
so at that point, we could always use water in this town, it's always been a problem.
Yeah,
So if
Well-
we can get good water, I'm
well, we're gonna bring it back up at the next meeting when we have all documents, because even the review of the contracts for the two pieces of land, you know, we're in the beginning stages of that, so.
Good.
All right, so we're gonna table that till the next meeting.
Yeah.
What are we tabling?
Well, 1 and 2. What?
Well, I mean, if you're doing number 13, which,
Well, we're gonna review and discuss them, we can't approve them tonight, we haven't gone through the contracts.
Right.
oh, no.
Go ahead.
Right.
No.
But they can look to verbalize all what we're talking about.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you were doing anything with the letter relating to it being,
I'm gonna distribute the letter tomorrow, if in
Yeah.
fact it comes.
all right?
So we're gonna have to put that on the agenda, the next agenda, for everybody to digest it and then approve that they're okay with the wells.
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was a baseline in that letter that was,
No.
Okay.
It's either gonna be approvable that it's potable water
Yeah.
with the inclusion of chlorine, or it's not.
that's what I meant. It
Yeah.
would be, you vote with a condition upon if the letter says it's good
No,
to
we don't have to
go.
vote, I think we should.
Okay,
Look at
I'm
everything.
going off my own
Yeah.
notes, that's all, I'm
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
sorry.
no, it's
Phil.
okay, you're right, I see it here, but we're not gonna authorize.
Understood.
To do
I
that.
was,
Yeah,
So
Well,
we're
the next is to review and authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement with Delaware Engineering to establish the 17M Water and Sewer District. That is the map plan request that we need. They have to put together a line out, and that coincides with what we talked about, George, your concerns and fears are. So that puts everything and develops a map for where the actual district is going to be. That's what this contract is for.
To the tune of 50,000.
No, maximum of 50,000. Yeah, they gave us, yeah. It's broken down on who does what, because there's different levels of. Mhm. Any questions on that?
So are we gonna, are we
Now, is this
doing that
to be
tonight?
paid by the-
Since we haven't decided
We don't need the wells to create the districts, remember, we have the water and sewer from Middletown.
Now, since we cannot use general taxpayer money for the water district, the people in this district are being willing to pay for the cost of all this development.
That's correct, that's why Tuesday I'm meeting with Bill Viramonte of the IDA, and the IDA looks like they're considering helping us and supporting the build out of this, and then getting money back from the district after it's built. Early stages, but looking at all different things.
I need the authorization to write the
Roy?
I'm sorry, guys.
Okay,
Go ahead.
we've told our water and sewer districts all along that
They,
you cannot use general taxpayer money.
And we're
In
not.
this case, we're gonna use general taxpayer money to develop it, and then I guess that we'll get paid back, is that what it is? You
no,
said?
what we're gonna do is, Christine is looking at, we're gonna borrow money from one of our funds.
Okay,
If we decide to purchase this property, we'll
Right.
borrow money from the funds.
right,
The build-out of the district is going to be bared by the people in that district.
right.
There's gonna be a cost associated with startup costs for us to build out.
Yeah.
But we have to front that money,
Well, I was just looking at this Delaware engineering, what's that gonna cost?
less than 50,000.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, it's capped,
Yeah.
it's capped at 50.
Yeah. But you're right, we can't use taxpayer money.
no,
So we're looking at grant money, because there's a lot of grant money for water and sewer now. We're looking at help from the IDA,
Right,
and we're looking at, there was one other thing that we have a potential agreement that we can put in place with a company out of New York City, out of what is it, Blackstone, that funds for water and sewer districts. So we have many options for us, but you're right, the taxpayers are not gonna be paying this. The sewer district is gonna, and water district is gonna be paying. Yes, all right.
for the most part, the
I'll talk to you
developer
about it.
always pays the escrow out of their escrow.
Correct.
We don't have a developer on this particular one.
No, but we do have developers of the property along 17 that are more than willing to help us, because the value of their
I'm
property.
just clarifying.
right, that's right.
Instead of taxpayer money.
But you and I and everybody here in the audience, we're not paying for it.
Right.
That district is gonna pay for it. Okay, so can I get a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the agreement? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so review and discuss the contract for the purchase of 38 Echo Lake Road, 12-1-1.5, consisting of 14.4 acres plus or minus for the sum of $95,000, and 12 Echo Lake Road, 12-1-1.41, consisting of plus or minus 11 acres, also for the sum of $95,000.
Those are the two wells.
That's the two.
Those are the
wells,
two
right?
parcels with 6 wells
6 wells.
total, yes.
The lip
We-
wells included?
The lip-off wells are on Echo Lake Road, those,
Right, but the point is, we don't wanna sign anything.
We're not signing anything tonight.
Okay,
No, this is a discussion.
okay, yeah, because.
I didn't say, I said,
The letter.
I said review and discuss.
Yeah, so we're actually gonna use those 2 wells of this property?
For now.
We're gonna test all the wells there eventually, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know if they were so close that they would starve the other well or how it would work. I haven't been out.
Apparently
They're
they
pretty
did.
close, they're not far from each other.
They're all along the walk hill.
Okay.
Boom. The water hill.
It's good water.
Okay, so we're not doing anything to.
No, I know you had
No,
some comments. but
you had some questions that you wanted to bring up,
Just
so.
Feel free to shoot them to me. I understand the, you know, the, essentially the easy part that you brought up. There was a reason, I don't wanna go too deep into it. We were talking about the material terms, cost, price, purchase price, those details. So if you have feedback.
There was
or-
a whole, I assume you had read it.
Yeah,
I just looked at the thing, and it was like the weirdest contract I had ever read.
It's a bit of a hodgepodge. We were talking, the point of it was to get the material terms. When I say the material terms, price point, due closing, things of that nature. So I'm open, obviously, to feedback. I know you've got a couple things, so if you want to shoot them over to me, so when we have the final draft
If
before.
I can just state that, you know, just jump in real quick and say, the purpose of bringing this up tonight was to see if the town board had any reservations on the cost, and if there's anything they wanted to determine if that value was a good value. I mean, I know, if you just do a desktop on Zillow, they're coming up at $300,000.
Yeah.
So, because this size of the property. But, you know, if we want to incur the cost of getting a survey and an appraisal, we can do that, but we're gonna bear that cost.
Yeah, well, the survey is one, the appraisal apparently is, there have been appraisals done which are much higher than the 95,000, right?
Andy Berliner has appraisals. I asked him to share it with us. He hasn't done that yet, but he does have an appraisal stating both parcels of that property are worth $325,000 each. He's willing to give it to us at $95,000 because he recoups what he paid for them. They're not gonna use the wells, and
I'm for it,
Yeah.
but be quick,
Yeah.
handed with it.
I already said we're not.
You get by today with.
I think a survey would probably be a good thing, no?
I'll get the survey from Michael Chang. He has a survey.
So they have it,
There you go.
I'm sure they,
They probably do.
yeah, yeah.
I'll request both surveys from Michael Chang, not a problem.
Okay.
All right, so we're good with the numbers, so moving forward, Rory, when you work on the contracts.
Yep.
I'll send the stuff over to you, Rory. that I-
Yeah, please do. I got, it was a first draft, so
Okay.
those things are
Gotcha.
expected. Thank you, George.
Okay, informational purposes, the polling site, November 7, 2023, elections are at the Goshen Public Library, Main Street for District 1, 3, 4, 5, and 9, and the Carolina Building at 23 Hatfield Lane for Districts 2, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Is that gonna be permanent?
I don't know, it's not gonna, I don't think it's gonna be a town hall unless we have a presidential election.
No,
where
No,
they
but
need-
they were all over the school.
No, they don't do that anymore.
District 4 was in the school.
They used to have it out of the.
They had it out as
No, they don't do
Valley
that anymore.
View. That's why I just asked if it.
Because of COVID.
The Carolina Building could probably put, they could probably put 50.
Yeah.
Right, right.
You know, I mean, we had maybe 13 different polling places.
We did.
And some of them were for the convenience of the people to come and vote.
But
But I-
COVID put an end to that.
I also think that they're having a difficult time getting volunteers.
Yeah,
Very
but
difficult
I-
time
I-
getting volunteers.
You can promote this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea,
Yep.
you know? Absolutely.
Okay, discuss and approve a motion to authorize the supervisor to pay accounts payable check warrant in the amount of
I need
20.
you to-
Sorry, there's a number 61. Did they not get it?
I didn't get it.
We got it.
I didn't
Yeah,
get
it's on the back.
Yeah, in the back.
Oh, the 16 is about the police officers.
I didn't get it.
I gave it to you, Joe, look through your paper.
Oh, I was gonna talk about that, yeah. I was gonna do that after that. So Officer William Geit and Officer Kevin Donahue represented the town of Goshen Police Department as Governor Hochul honored the first responders to the tragic bus accident on Interstate 84 in Wawayanda last month, carrying students, staff, and chaperones from Farmingdale High School. The governor extended an invitation to all first responders who were at the scene today for a commencement ceremony honoring the bravery and service of New York State's first responders in Albany on on Monday, October 23rd. We're proud to have two impactful responders there to represent our agency. Congratulations to all recipients. So that was Officer Billy Geith, who's a brand new officer, just came out of the academy, and Officer Kevin Donahue, both on the scene that day in this tragic event.
We gotta be able to give them a press release, Mary, or send it to the Indy and.
Yeah, we can
the
send it to the
Chronicle, and
Indy, I
maybe
can
with a
send it
copy of
out
the
tomorrow.
certificate
Could we do
recognizing those.
Yeah.
Create a
We can
platform and have
congratulate
it,
them.
yeah, at the next town board meeting, bring them, not maybe the
Yeah.
next, but one of the town board meetings, bring them in, congratulate them.
Yeah.
But this one, on this thing, picture
Call the
here, just
paper and have
kind
it
of go to
print,
the police
you know.
department, doesn't say the two guys.
Well, what happened was there were so many different responding agencies, she had no idea who was coming. In fact, Billy was the only
Right.
one up there.
But when we had a press release, I mean, it'd be
We
nice.
named the officers.
No, we'll name
That's all,
them,
I would
yeah.
hope.
Well, I
That's
thought-
why we have
yeah.
a
You
press.
can have them come from.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And we knew about this, but the invitation was not extended to any of the public, not even to their family, because there were so many respondents that were gonna be up there.
Well,
So,
they'll get the recognition locally
Sure.
if we send the press release out, and everybody will know that's,
Yeah, good.
good.
all right, discuss and approve a motion to authorize the supervisor to pay accounts payable check run October 26, 2023 in the amount of $317,064.30.
So moved.
Second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Attached in our pamphlet, the budget officer performed an accounts payable review for October 12, 2023. Any questions on that?
No, but I think it's very, very nice that she does that.
Yes,
And I don't think she's ever found a problem, which is a good thing.
Well, we're clean here at the town of Goshen, that's for sure.
Try to, say that right.
Right? Open the floor. Okay.
Up to 4 weeks ago now, with that petition referendum for selling the town property. Anything,
Turn it over to our attorney, he has a,
Well, we have an opinion from the other attorney, I think you're.
oh yeah, I can read that
It's
to
an
you.
attorney's
I will
opinion.
read that to you. Nick.
it's
So-
an attorney's opinion?
No, Kelly, the planning board attorney who was active in the suit at the time, she was the town board attorney at the time, or Rick Holden was from her office. So, in response to your email below, Legoland's position not to purchase the properties put an end to the issue at the time. Recently, Legoland's approached the town seeking to purchase those properties again. The decision to sell the properties to Legoland New York was made by that town board in a public meeting. Neither time were the actions of the town board faulty, and it's as stated in your email. The sale of property was properly accomplished, and the town followed the process correctly. The sale involved 3 landlocked parcels totaling 4.46 acres. So there was technically never a lawsuit. The lawsuit was withdrawn when Legoland decided not to buy the property. Otherwise, it would have went to a public referendum, but it didn't. Do you disagree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to back it up with something, I gladly,
So I have to relitigate a court decision, is that what you're saying?
there was no court decision.
There was a court decision to hold the referendum.
Right, but the referendum wasn't held.
Right.
So that made the case moot.
We can go around in circles. The referendum wasn't held because they
Withdrew the property.
didn't want to buy the property.
Correct. They withdrew the offer to purchase the property.
Right. And now they want to purchase it. Now they did purchase it.
They did purchase it, and we went through the process the same way we did before. We had a public hearing, we invited the public in.
So
We had,
there was no standing referendum, is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
correct.
This is an attorney's opinion. So I would have to relitigate this if I want to fight it. It's not.
I can't tell you what you would have to do. It seems you don't agree with my opinion, so for me to tell you what you would need to do after that would seem to be counterintuitive.
But
You need another attorney to
Listen,
tell you what to do.
I will send this email to you. By all means, you should go to your attorney and get an answer from him or her. This is our attorney advising us that everything we did proper.
Okay.
And in fact, just so you know, and in fact, this past week, the court put a closure to the final case that we were arguing and voted in our favor. So all cases against Legoland are closed, and there's no active cases.
What were there, two cases, 2 lawsuits? altogether, do you remember?
I'm not
I think
the attorney
two major ones.
regarding
One
those,
of them, they
so.
were
I
peeled
don't
down to
know.
New York City and all over creation.
So.
There was a couple, I think there might have been 3 or 4 altogether that we went to court on.
So the secret review, that wasn't done because you felt it wasn't necessary, even though that the whole piece of property is completely changed. I mean, they lowered it or raised it, the whole elevation has changed, the surrounding property has changed. That's all done on the up and up. Okay.
Trying to see what. Yeah, and listen, I would, you know, if you feel that strong about it, I'd go to an attorney on it and then.
So I have to relitigate something that's already been decided.
You'd have to make it, your attorney would have to make a determination you have something to litigate, not relitigate, because no litigation ever occurred.
It was litigated once back in 2007.
I believe I'm not,
The necessity for the permissive referendum became moot when the sale of the land was withdrawn.
Okay, so if 2 weeks later they said, we want to buy it,
goes to a public
they
hearing.
would have to go through the whole process all over again.
Yes.
Well, I believe all that case did was deem that a permissive referendum was required.
Well,
Exactly.
not required, that the necessary steps were taken by the public to qualify for the permissive referendum.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the public performed their duty, got
Right.
the signatures for a referendum.
Right, for the
So
sale
2
of,
weeks
the
later-
sale of the property at that time from the
You're-
board that was
you're
constructed
just
at that
making an
time.
analogy that 2 weeks later. That's not what happened. It was obviously
It's not what
5
happened,
years
but
later.
you're saying, once they said they didn't want
It was
the
moot.
property anymore,
As far as the
then
court was,
it's out the window.
it's a moot point. The court
So if they come back 2 weeks later and say, we want to buy
They
it,
come back 5 years later.
They could come-
things
But
do
they
change.
could have come in and asked for the permissive referendum
Yeah.
5 years later too,
Yeah.
because it was noticed in the paper. If anybody came in with a petition, we would have had to do a permissive referendum for the
exactly,
sale.
but where did it stop? The original
should be the only one
petition
answering
for a
this.
permissive
I mean-
referendum. If they would have come back 2 weeks later, playing
I-
silly games at the
Can
window.
I just say that I should probably be the only one answering this question?
Yeah.
Okay? So,
Yeah.
and the answer has been given, okay?
You want me to get an attorney?
I don't want you do whatever you want to do. You were given an answer, you don't like the answer, so then you need to go have
I
someone
have to
find.
relitigate, yes.
I can't tell you what you have to do.
You're not telling me, I'm telling me I have to.
Relitigation insinuates that
there was a litigation.
that litigation, you're in a different scenario than you were before. So that's something, and I'm not trying to discourage you for it or talk in any manner, the answer is the answer. I understand you don't like it, I can appreciate that, but I'm not gonna give you a different one.
I understand you're not going to give me.
Okay, so that's the answer.
Okay. All of that other stuff does, Mary, Legoland is hooked up to Arcadia Hills Water?
No,
No, village water.
Village water.
Village water.
they're not.
They don't run
Arcadia
pipe into
doesn't-
Arcadia Hills that they were claiming that they would be using, that they would supplement Arcadia Hills if they had a problem?
No, Arcadia doesn't have enough water to get to Legoland. Arcadia doesn't have enough water to give to
Oh, I know that.
Arcadia. Yeah, they're not hooked up to Arcadia water, not at all. They're getting their water totally from the village, and they're billed from the village.
And I seem to remember somewhere in there that they were hooked up and they were going to be kind enough that if Arcadia,
No, that never came to fruition.
okay. And that one piece of property, lot 63, does that hold Arcadia piping?
I don't know that.
I don't have the original map. I'm not sure where lot 63 is. Is that triangle down by?
No, the two triangles are the big ones, those are 2 acre lots. The 63 is down along the side.
Is that the .0805 acres?
It's tiny.
Why don't we direct that to Frank for the
Yeah.
next, whether before the next meeting or then have the building inspector answer that question rather than you guess at it.
Yeah.
What's the question?
The question is whether there's Arcadia piping under lot 63, which is one of the parcels that was sold.
I'll get an answer for you. Anything else?
I guess not, no.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bill?
Just a couple of things, Joe, to go back to the sale of the quarry. So you said the intent is for the town to establish a park there.
Correct.
Now, there's that, you mentioned the ancient mines in the back. I'm not familiar with, is that already fenced off, or?
Yeah.
The mine's fenced off?
Yeah.
No.
No.
He means the cave.
The cave.
Well, the
Well,
cave.
the caves, from what I understand, you can't get that far, that deep into them. I haven't been up there
So
myself.
that, but they belong to the county.
But we would
Oh,
get
we're
separate
purchasing
property.
That's coming to us?
Yeah, they're
Yes.
both, everything would come to us.
Two
Because
properties,
the-
it's two properties.
Two
correct,
properties,
yeah.
two parcels.
Because the historical society, those are the oldest caves in North, Central, and South America.
Yeah,
And the New York State quote-unquote Historical Society is really sensitive about those.
Right.
That's why people don't go to them and
Right.
see them.
right.
Because
There's
they
a
don't want-
fence that goes, oh, sorry.
Good,
There's a fence that goes around that whole thing,
yeah.
around the whole property.
But not just, it's not just around the mines. it's
No, it's
around
not
the
just
larger-
around the
Let
mines.
me get to
the
my
larger-
question then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what it's about is kids.
Yeah,
So they can't go in.
Yep,
If this is gonna be a town park, we have a liability.
yeah.
sure.
And open holes and whatnot.
Won't be an open hole, it's gonna have to be filled with water.
Okay, so drowning. You know, aren't we gonna have to spend money to, you know, prevent barriers, install barriers?
Yeah, we're gonna have to spend money, you know.
Okay,
We'll have to come up with a plan and all that, with all the things we've got to do.
yeah,
But those caves, that's a very, very sensitive issue.
I know it is.
Historical
Yeah.
society.
No, it's risky to do it, it's risky not to do it. Either way, we have potential liability.
yeah,
They continue to keep digging,
Yeah.
we have the potential of that entire development up there losing water, we
Yeah.
have no way to service them
Yeah.
with water.
Now, do they have to, I mean, for the agreement they've got with the county, do they have to reclamate all that? I mean, fill it in or whatever?
Well, it's they're keeping their hole, the hole is theirs.
yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, if they abandon the hole, I mean, at some point in time, do they have to, I mean, I don't know how you,
Quite honestly, I don't have an answer. I've asked the county for a survey on where the property lines are.
Okay.
So we can see how much is theirs in that hole, how much is the county in that hole,
right.
and figure out what we have to do. We may just have to cordon it off with a fence that you can't get to the hole.
Yeah.
You can see it from a distance, you know,
Yeah.
maybe a double fence, a fence along the line, and then something 6 feet in. There's gonna be a cost associated, yes, Bill.
But if
So I
they're
raise
not
it.
gonna use the hole, I mean, to pull more rock out of, I mean,
Right.
I should think from a safety perspective, that would have to be sealed off and do all kinds.
We could, yeah, we're gonna have to do something, yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
so I just wanna make sure we're planning. So we also mentioned that, what is it, Tilson?
Tilcon.
Tilcom is gonna continue to operate.
I would imagine they have a fully functional plant there that makes asphalt.
So if that's our property, will they be?
No, they own that piece of property. There's
Oh.
3 lots there.
Oh, okay. We're not buying that
No.
piece then? Okay. Enough for that. I may have misunderstood on this business about the senior citizen exemption.
Mhm.
Did you say that New York State has reduced the capital losses to 3,000?
Yeah, New York State, here, I'll give you the exact what it says in loss limitation. If an applicant, FAGI, was reduced by a business and other losses, those losses may be limited for exemption purposes. The applicant cannot include more than $3,000 for any category of loss, 1040 Schedule C, D, E, or F. In addition, the applicant cannot include any more than $15,000 in total losses to bring
Okay.
down their
You got ahead of me. What is an applicant? What do you mean? I thought
You.
you took,
Taxpayer.
You get a discount, you get a 50% reduction on your taxes because you're a senior and you make no money.
on my income taxes?
Yeah. Yeah, so what happens is,
You have
I'll-
Not that I'm aware.
no, not you. I'm not saying you, I'm saying
Generically.
you, Mr. Goshen resident, not you, not Bill Troy.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Goshen resident, okay, made $200,000 this year, but he had a $500,000 capital gain loss.
Yeah.
He's able to write off the entire $2,000, having a net income of 0, which allows him to take a 50% reduction on all of his taxes, including his school tax.
Oh, the zero loss leads to that. Oh.
Zero loss as a senior citizen leads to a 50% reduction in his total taxes. This New York State is capping that loss at $15,000. So in essence, if you made $200,000 last year, This year, you're only gonna get a reduction of 15 grand against your capital
I'm
loss.
sorry,
That's
I
all.
had written 3,000 that you said.
3,000 for each category of 1040, Schedule C, D, E, and F, for a total of 15,000.
For a maximum.
Yep.
All right.
Is that-
For the town of Goshen, I don't know the names, I'm not gonna mention them, because I didn't wanna know the names, I just asked the assessor how many people that affects, and it affects 7 people, they get a 50% reduction that are gonna lose that reduction. So it's a net increase in taxation for us.
All right.
Are these the seniors? Is that, are we talking,
Seniors.
we're not talking about the STAR exemption?
Nope.
No.
This is an additional exemption over and above
The STAR, what they get for,
Expand this.
I made a mistake when I said school, it does not include school. It
Right.
includes county, town, fire district, doesn't include library, because that's part of STAR.
Okay.
So they still get their STAR reductions, but that's funded by the state of New York, for now.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So it's just county, fire,
Yeah.
village, county, and town.
Yeah. Okay.
So Bill, you gonna go home and pack your money, are you?
I'll tell you, I'm gonna check some stuff out.
Yeah.
It was news to me,
Yeah.
because I just hit the senior roll at 62, so.
Save 63 cents a year, or whatever.
You better go home and check your stuff
Well,
out.
that's news to me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Everybody should take a look at it, you're entitled to it.
Wow.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Fill it with whatever you grab.
Can I get a motion to close the meeting October 26, 2023?
So moved.
Second.